We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, here with my brother from another big game, James, and we back with it. Let me put our names up there. I forgot I took our names down. But what's going on, James? What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, big dog. It's just another day, another dollar, all that good stuff. We're almost closer to the one step closer to the season. Getting excited about that. Obviously, we just had rookie mini camps. Well, not too much. We know what that is. But the smell of the air of the season actually getting back together is a good thing, in my opinion.
It feels good. It feels good to finally see some football happening. So basketball is happening as well. Yeah, I don't care about a smooth transition. I just want to address a comment real quick, James, if you don't mind. Just give me one second on this
please
one.
Go ahead.
But shout out to everybody already in the chat. But shout out to Landlord from Wakanda saying, as a big Philly guy, I'm scared Hurts is the next Ben Simmons. We don't say things around here like that. We'll say that this is, especially not this show. Maybe if it was, just me live, you know what I'm saying? We all dolo chilling, but you got a whole bunch of sharks on the other end waiting for a comment like that. So please don't say stuff like that. Let's not do that. But yeah, so today we are going to talk about our top 10 wide receivers on each side, looking at both of the list. I mean, they weren't too far off. I think that we have maybe like two or three different people. A lot of the actual placement is different, which I think will be interesting. But I wanted to start, and I want to start kind of, what was your grading technique, or like how did you make your top 10 list? What goes into your top 10 list?
Obviously, I think I don't go by, just 1 year. I look at the body of the career. That's definitely goes in the fold with me. I don't want to look at one guy and say, "Oh, he's one of the best receivers after 1 year." I did body of work is definitely with me. Yards. Obviously, did you move around? Obviously, we'll talk about that a little bit. Explosive plays. Definitely, if you're an explosive receiver, that goes in hand with me. And I look at drops too. Drops is key, and I keep those kind of in mind. But that's kind of my grading. I ain't like what we talk about, those guys out there. This guy, let me how you tell me my grading scale of. Yeah, I ain't that
I give
guy.
them 0.5 points for every coffee they drank.
Yeah, 2.3 seconds in separation, and that. I ain't that guy.
No, I ask honestly because of one thing you said, you said the body of work, and I kind of went into it, which I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. Obviously, that's kind of why I wanted to know, because I know we probably went into this kind of thinking different things, and it shows. So, like, I kind of went more in like what I think for next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did. Don't get me wrong. There are players on there that I'm going to be like, he is who he is. You've seen what he's done. He is that guy. But at the same time, I think kind of my, especially top five-ish, are more so projections, maybe. So I think it'll be interesting to see what people think. I think people are gonna get mad either way.
They're definitely gonna get mad at me. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you hate." Yeah, they're gonna definitely get mad at me, but that's okay. All right, I told you when I sent my list, there is some bias, so I don't care.
It is what it is. I think we both have a little bit of bias. I mean, you saw my list as well,
Yeah.
so you know what time it is. But yeah, I mean, look, I think that it's very, very subjective, because it really depends on what the players asked to do, which we definitely will get into, because I know that was a big Twitter conversation between CeeDee Lamb and AJ Brown. And it's, every offense is different, every system is different, so it's hard to really judge or hard to really compare two players in two totally different situations as to do realistically two totally different things. I know the temptation is there because we love to put the labels like wide receiver one, and he's your main guy, he's your main target, but they're different players. But we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into everything. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be fun. Is there anything on that? Because I know on the Philly side, it's a whole lot of just the basketball season ended for them, so now that's what they're upset about. Football's really not going too crazy, but I don't want to like just shun the Dallas Cowboys. Like, has anything happened on that side? No newsworthy at all?
Going on right now?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's definitely been some things going on. Obviously, contracts are being talked about. CeeDee Lamb, Trevin Diggs, he could possibly hold out if he wanted to. He's pretty much up after this year. So, um, and then Micah Parsons, he's really going hard in the paint. As far as him wanting to play defensive end more, wanting to get more, pass rushing moves. He's really going hard at that. Dan Quinn kind of come back and say, "Hey, he's a pass rushing linebacker," and then Stephen Jones coming right back after that talking about contract. Like, oh, what is he? Is he a defensive end? Is he a linebacker? And then Stephen Jones kind of coming out of nowhere. This is what I heard was that, hey, whether he's getting 10 plus sacks as a linebacker or 10 plus sacks as a defensive end, he's just a great player, versatile. I just heard a lot of things, bar being set at 10 sacks. Like anything less than that, they're going to try to hit you. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there was, a bar set for um him already. So maybe he already senses that, and that's why his butt is getting in that lab trying to get them pass rush moves even better, so he can really say, "Hey, I'm trying to get a 20 sack season like D Ware did, and y'all really ain't got no choice to pay me because them sacks is what gets you paid. You can have that all around game, we know that." But sacks get you paid, not tackles, not pressures. None of that gets you paid. It's the sacks. That's what got Lawrence got paid. All these guys get paid from them sacks.
Yeah, and once he said that he was going to move to defensive end, people were asking like, "Why would he do that?" I mean, that's where you're going to get the most money. Like, it makes 100% sense. 100% sense. Like, it makes a total sense because that is where you're going to get paid. And at the end of the day, he might be. I honestly, I think he would be better suited to be a defensive end. And I know that he has to put on, the weight and everything, but realistically, he has the arsenal of pass rush. I really do believe that, the whole conversation, it's going to be fun to see him as a full-time pass rusher because now we can kind of compare him to Hassan Reddick and see where that, kind of falls after this season. I think that's going to be fun to kind of look at because
I mean, we can do that, but I keep hearing this comparison back and forth, and I'm sorry, I don't feel like it's. I mean, it's definitely a back and forth. I told you, Hassan Reddick is a dog, but
yeah,
man, we talking. My guy is 23 years old, and Hassan Reddick is 28 years old. And my guy only had 2.5 less sacks, more tackles for loss. People keep talking about the playoffs. If you watch the game against San Francisco, Micah Parsons was on Purdy all game. He was just throwing the ball away or he would have had sacks. Stop acting like Micah Parsons disappeared. And I'm sorry, if his bias comes in, I get it. But if you had a 23-year-old getting 13 and a half sacks, for 13 in his first year, 13 in his second year, and it's still trending up, you're not going to take him over a guy who's a little bit smaller, just now eclipsed what he's done in a year in like year 6. Had a year where he only had 1 sack, only had 6 sacks in his first 2 seasons. Ooh, come on, man. I can't really say that.
My whole thing is just to defend my player. I will say, how I feel about Micah Parsons.
3
I think
teams
he's a dog.
already too.
But my thing with Hassan Reddick is that he has never really been used correctly until he was, and then we saw what happened. I mean, the same can be said about a lot of players. Sometimes you go to bad situations, and again, I said I don't feel like you can realistically compare the two right now because Micah Parsons is asked to do different things than what Hassan Reddick is asked to do. So I don't think that the comparison is fair right now, but next year, after this year, where Micah Parsons really has to line up, really has to go after that quarterback consistently, and it's not just kind of like a trick. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's good because this year he had the luxury of catching people off guard. You don't know where he's going to line up. It's hard to really scheme against a player when you don't know where he's going to be at. Next year, you know where he's going to be. You know what he's going to do. So I'm not saying he's going to fall off the earth, but I think it's going to be interesting to watch. But Hassan Reddick, I mean, the last 3 years, if you're asking me to take Hassan Reddick's last 3 years when he was used correctly and put him against Micah Parsons, I think it's very close. I mean, if they were both the same age, it would be a very, very hard decision. But obviously, yeah, that age is a
big factor. Man,
yeah, so I mean, it's hard
that's 5 years less, and my guy's already got double-digit sacks his first 2 seasons. And hey, we don't know if he's going to play full-time defensive end because Dan Quinn put push back on that. So we'll see. But honestly, he could do it because when he was a high schooler, that was his position. He was a defensive end. They converted him to linebacker when he got to Penn State, but he was always a pass rushing DN. He's got size 245. We've seen it too. Hassan Reddick is 240. We've seen guys undersized be able to be good pass rushers. Jason Taylor was a wiry guy. He wasn't a big dude. We've seen dudes like that are not huge guys and still be able to be very effective off the edge. So, and Micah was already a solid guy. So we'll see. But I'm sorry. And this ain't even no hate, but if I wasn't a Cowboys fan and you took a Micah Parsons and a Hassan Reddick, you said, which one would you take right now to go ahead and start your team? I'm sorry, I'm taking Micah Parsons.
I would take Micah. I would take Micah right now. But if we restarted Hassan Reddick, like, you know, if Hassan Reddick was 23 3 years ago,
right,
you know
what
I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. But
that would be a different story. You feel what I'm saying? That age is a big factor. So when you're talking about that arrow, you know, that age is a huge factor.
Yeah, it'll be interesting though. I'll stick by this, and because this season, like, I don't know if we will do linebackers. Maybe we should just do like edge rushers or something. But if we did a top 10 list, where do you put Micah? Where do you put Hassan? I mean, they both technically are outside linebackers. I believe Hassan is tallied up as an outside linebacker. So where do you put him? I mean, do you say he's one of the defensive ends? Do you lump them together with linebackers? I think with Micah Parsons is a little bit more of a conversation of maybe he is more of a linebacker. With Hassan, it's like he's an edge rusher. He's that's what he does. So that's the only reason why I say it's hard to compare, because I can't put them on the same list. Might be a weird, reasoning behind it.
I get what you're saying, because Micah can do other things. Like Micah, he can drop in coverage for you. Not saying Hassan can't, but he can really drop in coverage for you. You can move him around, and that's why it's hard to label him, because he can do so many things. And I think that's the reason why you love Micah Parsons, because his versatility. You can put him at the edge and you can play him in the edge all game if you wanted to, or you can play him at linebacker, drop him, and then you, like you said, pick your spots. You want to drop him in coverage, you want to move him around so you can't get a beat on him. He's that good to be able to do that. And that's why I say I would take a Micah Parsons, because especially when you're starting a team where you want a guy who can be versatile like that, where you can't get a beat on your weapon. He's a weapon for you because you don't never know where he's at. That's a beautiful thing as a player, because that's confusing the offense, and actually it's helping your defense, because if they're always worried about where he's at, it's going to get other guys better as well, because they're going to make plays because they're always focusing on you.
Yeah, and I mean, to put it in the simplest of terms, like I was just playing Madden earlier today. You look at two players, right? You look at two free agents, and both of them are great. Both have the same exact stats. What do you usually do? You look at the money, you look at the age. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So I think when comparing, it really does come down to the age, because I think you said it. You said it while you were saying that as well. It's not to say that Hassan Reddick can't do it,
right?
But when you look at what he's successful in, it's been mainly as an edge rusher. So I think it's an interesting conversation, and I think it's a very May conversation, right? We still got so many months till actual football, so it makes sense to have these conversations now. But it also makes sense to have these conversations about these wide receivers, which we're about to do. We should make this a little interesting. We should maybe the top comment. I don't know. We'll think about it at the end. Like, we'll let these guys vote, and maybe we'll do like a little bet. Maybe like next show, we got to say the top comment or something like that. I don't know. We'll think of something. I'll think as we're doing this. But yeah, let's get into the bottom 5 for both of us. So I think most people are actually kind of agreeing in the comments, which is beautiful to see. Drew said he got a comment. Drew already. Drew came in here.
Drew is always on flame, on fire. He waits for this show to start so he can just go ahead and spew it all out.
He be having stuff to say, bro.
Go ahead and spew it all out. All I hear is hate, so I can't really listen to his conversations, because that's why I love doing shows with you. We have logical conversations. Drew, you just go too overboard with it and never say anything good about anything. With Dallas, I at least give Philly compliments and say, hey, they're pretty good with this and they're good with that. When you're just hating all the time, I can't really listen to you.
Yeah, I respect that he did bring up he brought up the fact that Lane Johnson is his father. Lane Johnson's Micah Parsons'
No, he's
father.
Not. Once again, no, he's
daddy
not.
right there.
No, he's
he
not.
hasn't got nothing on him. He
No,
hasn't
he's
gotten none
not.
of them.
Yeah, and we also seen he has been double teamed. And don't tell me you watched
True.
the tape, because if you watch the tape, he has gotten double teamed. He has gotten help. He has definitely gotten help in both of those matchups. So I don't want to hear that Lane Johnson is the only one blocking Micah Parsons. That is not true. So stop saying that. You can say Lane Johnson is DeMarcus Lawrence's daddy. You can
Oh,
say
he definitely is. Yeah.
he's his daddy. I will say
Yeah.
that. I will agree with you. But he is not Michael Parsons' daddy, so go somewhere with that.
The one thing I will say though, saying that when you say that out loud, right? You kind of say that, yeah, he did get helped, and I do agree with you, Lane. There were a good amount. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you because it's like not that big of a sample size, but there were definitely one-on-ones that
There
Lane
was.
Johnson got. But you are right. He definitely got helped. He was definitely schemed against. But going forward, if you are a full-time defensive end,
Yeah.
that's what's going to be happening. So it's going to that kind of gives credence to the conversation we were having.
That's
but
why,
either way,
that's why Micah is getting in the lab. That's why a guy like that is saying, okay, if I'm playing more edge and I'm coming off the edge, well then I'm gonna be in the lab even more. He's going against some of the greats already. You see him training with Andrew Whitworth, and he's a great and he's trying to understand what those guys are really thinking in their head, man. And how can you not love that? So the kid's only 23, 24 years old. Come on, man.
Shy, you got a super chat right there, brother.
Oh, shout out to my guy Sleepland for the $9.99. Holly says, great show, fellas. I'm ready for the season to get here already. Real talk. So are we, because we always have great shows, and this is going into another year of this, and I'm excited about it, especially when we have our matchups this season.
Facts. This is gonna be this is gonna be a fun year. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So let's get into these, man. Let's get into these. We'll start with the bottom 5. We'll start with yours because yours was the first one that popped up. So this is your 6 through 10. Make sure I did it right because we had to make that last minute adjustment. But
you did it right.
I got it right. All right,
you
cool.
Sure
so we good for at least this.
And I know y'all Philly fans gonna be hating on that and running your mouths and your chops and all that good stuff. I know you are. I was waiting for it, but
let the comments pour in.
Oh, they gonna come
sides.
They coming. I know they coming.
Especially for this bottom 5. I think that it's going to be very telling on both sides, but I'll let you go through it. If you want to go one by one, however you want to kind of do it, I'll let you kind of start. And if I have any questions, if anybody in the comments has any questions, we'll get to those.
Okay. Well, first off, my 10th player, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Is that how you say it? I threw him in there. I was debating because, I like your boy Mike Evans. I love Mike Evans, and I know he didn't have he had a little bit of a smaller down year, obviously, but you're playing with Tom Brady, who was 45 years old, so that was a hard one. I was really like Mike and Evans, but I just felt like Brown deserved it. He's been playing well the last few seasons. Detroit is an up and coming team. He had 106 receptions, 1,100 yards, and the thing I like about it is, only 4 drops and passer rating of 111 yards when you throw the ball to him, and he just made that offense in Detroit go. And then when you see Jamison Williams come in, that's going to give it a formidable pair. But I really like what he's doing. He's been coming up ever since he's came in the league. He's been doing things, and so I just feel like, you know what, he definitely deserves. And I know a lot of people are already talking about him, and I'm just interested to see what he's going to do. But he's kind of come out of not say really nowhere, but he's definitely just really shown his mark, and I think he's here to stay. Not like one of those just deadly receivers, but he's a guy that can just really kind of carve you up, and then next thing you need, like, dang, he got 11 catches for 200 yards. You ain't even know that. That's what kind of guy he reminds me of. And then Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. I love Terry McLaurin because, number one,
hold on before you go on, because I see people, and I'm no offense, I don't want to be disrespectful.
No, go ahead.
But I saw some people actually, being like a monster, Ross St. Brown. I think I might have him in mind. I'm not 100%. If I don't, I definitely was thinking about doing it because Amon-Ra is very good. So if you're sleeping at all,
hey, that's
10
fine.
might be, 10 might be a little bit too low to be 100%. He is a very, very good wide receiver and a very underrated one. So that's definitely a good spot for him. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I did see in the comments some people be like, "What? How is he top 10?" I like
that's
that
fine.
stuff.
Hey, like I said, this is my list. This ain't your list. You know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all can have y'all's list and y'all can tear my list up if you want to. That is totally fine. But this is my list and I'm rolling with it. So My next guy, like I said, is Scary Terry. I feel like he's very underrated. When you look at the quarterbacks he's kind of had since he's been there, um, he's nice. And I'm not an Ohio State guy, but I get to see Ohio State, and he was very nice at Ohio State. And for what he's come in and did, he had Carson Wentz for a little bit, and then they had the quarterback. Can't remember his name, but he wasn't a great quarterback by any means. But to still be able to get 1,100 yards, what he's doing, only had 3 drops, average 5 yards of reception after the catch, 15.5 yards per reception, dog. That's not bad. And he got almost 1,200 yards on 77 receptions. So people be sleeping on him. He's got deep speed. He can run very good routes. He's tough. He plays tough. And I like Scary Terry, and I think he is scary. You people definitely have to watch him when you play the Washington football team or whatever, the Commanders. Don't tell me, you definitely have to game plan for him. You can't sleep on him at
Facts.
all.
Yeah, I hate the and we talk to George a lot about him.
Man,
I hate Washington, but
that's
Terry
why they call him. That's why they call him Scary
Yeah.
Terry, dog. He's the real deal.
Yeah,
And
I like watching him play.
And now I got AJ Brown at 8. Now I know a lot of y'all Eagles fans gonna hate this. A lot of people gonna be like, "Well, AJ Brown, hey, you crazy, blah blah." I know. I'll go ahead and say that. That's fine. I did it because guess what? I'm not putting him over my guy. I ain't doing it. Sorry, I'm not gonna do it. This is where you might see, if you call it bias, whatever. But I love my dog CeeDee Lamb and what he's done in these 3 years, and especially last year with. And I'll explain more. But I'm gonna definitely get AJ Brown his props. He could be higher on a lot of lists because of what he did. Right? He came over from the Tennessee Titans. Really came out. Not really. We're gonna say came out of nowhere, but we already knew what he could do. Right? But the fact that what he came over and exploded kind of on the scene made you guys that much better in the receiving game. And then did he have over 100 catches this year?
I believe he got close. I don't think so. I think he was around 80
13,
something.
yeah, but
1,400 yards, yeah.
1,400 yards.
Yes, sir.
I mean, he was a beast. I mean, like I said, he was y'all's engine. I mean, I know y'all had Devontae Smith, but helping y'all get to the Super Bowl, and he was your threat. People had to really understand what he brought to the table. 1,496 yards, 88 catches. So that's damn good. 11 receiving touchdowns, 6 drops, but that can happen when you're getting that big of volume. 118 passer rating, 6.4 yards after the catch. The dude was a monster. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he could be higher on a lot of lists, but I'm going with them right now because some other guys I put ahead of him kind of been foot soldiers a little bit longer than him. So that's why I kind of gave him the edge, and that's why I'm probably not higher on the list because I kind of gave the foot soldiers a little bit more time. Because of they put in a little bit more, like when we talk about the digs and things of that nature. So that's why he's on the list with me. Y'all can put him higher. You probably could, but not on mine. And he's not going to be ahead of CeeDee Lamb on mine today. Okay, so let me go with after AJ Brown, my dog CeeDee Lamb. Hey, I really got to give CeeDee Lamb his props because he got a lot of flack since he's come to Dallas. A lot of people saying, "Is he a number one? Is he a number one?" You had Amari Cooper, you had the Michael Gallup, but he definitely shown he was a number one last season. I mean, not really saying he had to prove it, but a lot of people were, suspect on CeeDee was, CeeDee going to do this, going to do that. But he came in like a reckless abandon. Now, first thing people are going to say is, well, CeeDee, he had 140 targets. I mean, but you got to look at, dog, he didn't have what like AJ Brown had, Devontae Smith. We had Noah Brown. We didn't have a Devontae Smith. We had Michael Gallup, who said my knee was hurt all year and was sore. So you had a guy that was playing limping and hurt. And we had a Dennis Houston that was our second receiver who was a starter who was undrafted. So you got to look at, and plus CeeDee Lamb had Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush ain't playing for nobody in the league. I'm sorry. If you cut Cooper Rush right now, I don't think he's playing for anybody else in the league right now. And we went and played 5 games with him so the fact that he was still doing his thing with that backup quarterback and we were winning games with them says a lot to me. Like I said, 107 catches, 1,300 yards, 9 receiving touchdowns. And I think he was only second to Justin Jefferson in plays over 20 yards the last few years. So people say, oh, he's playing in the slot, but he gets explosive plays. He gets big plays. I mean, he gets big plays. So that's what I look at. And I like his versatility because the year before in 2021, because they'll say, oh, he plays in the slot a lot. But last year, they didn't have him in the slot as much as they had him in the season prior. And he was still a top 6 a receiver by metrics of Pro Football Focus. So, and he played 56% of the snaps last year on the outside, and he played a lot more in the inside. So that tells you he can play outside and inside, and that's why he is above that list. All right. And then we're going to go with my next guy. You still there?
I'm letting you live.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm letting you
Okay.
live, and then I'm
He
gonna
said,
get mine.
he said,
I'm
he said,
gonna
I'm let-
talk mine
he
at the
said,
end. You know what I'm
he
saying?
he said, I'll give Bob let you live. Okay, I appreciate that you let me live. And then I'm going with Cooper Kupp as number 6 right now. And the reason why he's as low as he is because he had a little bit of an injury. I think he went out like week 10 or something like that with the ankle injury. But obviously, you've seen he has 75 catches, 812 yards. He's just a monster dog. He can play inside. He can play outside. He's got that deceptive speed. You saw he's just I mean, the last couple of years, his receptions are ridiculous, right? So when we're talking about, Joe, people being over-targeted, that's a guy that's over-targeted all the time. He'd be getting monster receptions, but he's always producing. And like I said, he's a deceptive guy. You don't think when you're playing the Cooper Kupp what he's going to do to you. But like I said, he's freaky at that line. That first couple steps when he's hitting you on that inside in that slot, man, he is deadly, dog. And that's what I really like about him, man. And he's kind of came out of nowhere because he wasn't one of those big-time guys coming out of college, Eastern Washington Eagles. Feel me? Who knows anything about them? And the fact that he's done what he's done, and he was like a 4-6 guy when he timed. But when you watch how he plays faster, and that's why he's at number 6 because of the injury. Could be higher.
I respect it. Yeah, Cooper Kupp was a funny person to kind of place. I didn't really like. I wanted to kind of put him in the top 5. I don't remember where I even put him, to be honest. But I know I was like battling myself on where I should put him because he is a really good player. Now I want to, I didn't want to say anything in between and start too much of an argument. I wanted you to get through your top year 6. But yeah, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown. I personally didn't even put CeeDee Lamb on my top 10.
That's crazy.
So I like that.
Disrespectful.
I think that he's good. I think that he's a very good player, but I think that's I think AJ Brown is a great player. I think that the difference is palpable. I think you see what AJ Brown has done for his offense, and you can say, well, he had this around him. It is what it is. I mean, weapons are just weapons. If you're not making the most out of them, then you're not that good. It is what it is. So I think that CeeDee Lamb, while he has a million targets, he liked to play out of the slot, but he also played a couple times on the outside. Didn't really produce all that much on the outside, but he did his thing on the slot. I mean, there's a lot of things you could say about what he did this year, but he wasn't better than Amari Cooper, and I don't think Amari Cooper is better than AJ Brown. So I think that you missed what you didn't have while we got something that we've never had, to be honest with you. AJ Brown is a type of wide receiver we've never had. So I think it's, hey, it's your list. I respect it. It is what it is. I don't even think CeeDee Lamb really has a place on this list, but it is what it is.
That's crazy.
We'll get to my list. I'll tell
crazy.
you
who
crazy. I got there. You'll see who I got there.
I've seen who you got. You know what I'm saying? And we already battling because, you keep on saying that Devontae Smith thing. I'm like, oh, okay, dog.
Yeah, so this is the real list. Maybe I put Cooper Kupp a little bit too low. Now I'm kind of, second guessing out there. But yeah, we're going to start at number 10, man. We're going to start at Devontae Smith. If I'm being real with you, I wanted to put him higher. I'm gonna be real with you. I wanted to put him even higher. I think that Devontae Smith is one of the most underrated players, wide receivers in this league. If I'm being 100% honest, I think what he's been able to do is just crazy, especially when you are but you're on the other side of a guy like AJ Brown. You got a running back that goes over 1,000. You have a quarterback that can run it, that can spread the ball around. So there's look, just as much as you can say that it's a, gift to have all these weapons around you, it's still a curse, because at the end of the day, the ball got to go to only one player. So Devontae Smith followed up the beginning of the year not having one reception, not one target, and then broke the Eagles' record for receptions. I mean, he's a dog. He's just a dog, in my opinion. Crispy routes. The man could catch anything thrown his way. So I got him at 10. And I would have put him higher, to be honest. Cooper Kupp, I like Coop. I really do. I like Cooper Kupp. I think that I think sometimes he's a little bit over. I don't want to say overrated because I think that has bad connotations, but I do think sometimes people are a little bit too hype on him. Like, production wise, you never really see. He had that one really big year, and then he had a couple of decent years. So I want to see another really big year out of him. See him, he's back fully healthy. So I think that this could be a good year for him. But I want to see it happen. So I put him at 9. I looking back, maybe I would have put him a little bit higher. And then, like I told you, I like Amon-Ra St. Brown, man. I think that didn't he get drafted in like the 4th, 5th row? He was late. He was mad late, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, the kid's good and he's young, just going to get better. So, yeah, I like Amon-Ra St. Brown a lot. Very, very underrated.
Yeah, he went the 4th round. Fourth round.
Yeah, the boy, he's got nothing but upside. And when you're in a offense like the Lions, which sounds kind of crazy to say out loud, but when you're in an offense like the Lions, you have a guy like Jared Goff, having one of the best years of his career, if not the best. It bodes well for an Amon-Ra, and he was a big part of that. So I like him a lot. Jalen Waddle, I really like him.
I respect the Jalen Waddle thing because I was going back and forth what if I wanted to put Jalen Waddle in mine because I feel like Jalen Waddle is legit. He was very legit. That's why I said that bottom ranking with the Scary Terry, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but Brown, Waddle. I thought about Devontae Smith. I thought about him because he is very good. He ain't better than CeeDee, but he's very good. But but I was thinking about Jalen Waddle, and then I told you Mike Evans.
Yeah, I'm hoping nobody goes through my Twitter because speaking of Twitter, dog. So I put out a tweet to Kay Adams. Kay Adams, the media personality and everything. Mm-hmm. So I put out a tweet just like, people I want to interview Kay Adams. And she just liked it. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully we're going to get Kay Adams on this show pretty soon. But no.
There it is. Well, you the man. Get it.
Hey, that's what I'm trying to get. Yeah. But either way, so Jalen Waddle, I hope nobody goes on my Twitter because Jalen Waddle is a guy that I honestly have said numerous times. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Numerous times that Devontae Smith is better. So this ranking shows that I was just saying that because it was on Twitter. But at the end of the day, I think that he's a dog. I think Jalen Waddle is, I don't want to say better than Tyreek because Tyreek has the, pedigree. He has the numbers, but I think long term, we're going to be looking at Jalen Waddle as one of the greats. I really have a high meter for this guy. I think he's so good. And then you got Stefon Diggs. I think Stefon Diggs, I probably lowballed him a little bit. Obviously I put AJ Brown ahead of him. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I guess that's a conversation. I mean, Stefon Diggs has done it with a lot of good quarterbacks. He's had a lot of good quarterbacks. He went from Minnesota. He had a Case Keenum having a crazy year. He had Kirk Cousins for a little while there. You go to Buffalo, you got Josh Allen, and you become the focal point of the offense even more. So he's always had really good situations if we're using situations against people. You look at AJ Brown, and this is where the battle between like what I think they'll be next year and what they've been kind of comes in, because it's like you can make an argument either way, but I guess it was really just like I think my guy deserves to be in the top 5, so maybe I snubbed Stefon Diggs on the route to that, but I don't know. I think it's a good list. I think it's solid.
It's solid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not having Devontae Smith up in there, especially over CeeDee Lamb. First of all, it's disrespectful that you didn't have CeeDee Lamb in there. That's crazy to me, in my opinion.
I was looking for a spot.
That's crazy. That's crazy because you even you having a St. Brown over him is crazy.
You really think so?
That's crazy because
I think
because if you look at CeeDee Lamb, since he's been in the league, dog, he's only had 1 year where he wasn't under 1,000 yards, and that was his rookie year, and he had like 979. So he was right there at the cusp. He's played inside and played out. He was one of the better receivers last year in 2021, and he played mainly on the outside. Yes, he played a lot in the slot, but that was due to what the coach was putting him in. But he was doggish out of it. You can tell he can flex wherever you want him. You can line him out wherever you want. You can't pigeonhole him into one position. And even when he had the Amari Cooper, he still had tough numbers. When Amari Cooper, the year before, when Amari Cooper had less receptions, it was CeeDee Lamb that got it. You know what I mean? And like I said, he's been doing it every single year. He has explosive plays, even though he's not like a 4-4 or a 4-3 guy. He has the most explosive plays with Justin Jefferson, over 20 yards. So how can you sit there and say that? And like I said, he played with Cooper Rush for 5 games, dog, and still did what he did and maintained what he did. Can't believe that, dog. That's crazy.
I go cap. This got me laughing. I go lie. This is funny. I truly do believe that. I mean, look, if you like people are thinking I'm trolling, I'm dead serious. I'll go through it. I'll tell you the truth. Like, I'm not. Devontae Smith is the only person I would put him over or replace him with, and I wouldn't, because I do think that Devontae Smith is better than CeeDee Lamb. I think that it's a conversation between Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. So I think congruent with that thought, he should be in my top 10. I think he might even be higher if I'm being 100% honest. I really can't think of it. Maybe I think Amon-Ra St. Brown. It comes down to the question I think we were asking about, Micah Parsons and Hassan Reddick. If you had to start your team right now, who would you take? I would probably take Amon-Ra. Isn't he a little bit younger? He's like 23, isn't he?
Yeah, CD's only like 23, dog.
Yeah, that's true. He did get drafted when he was young. I was trying to use your logic against you. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping he was like 25 or something like that.
CD's man young, dog. Come on, man. Don't do that.
He's 24, so that's 1 year, big dog.
But we ain't gonna
no, 1 year ain't shit.
You know
1 year ain't nothing.
I mean, but he just turned 24. He just turned 24.
Yeah, no, I can see.
His birthday was the month before, so he just turned 24.
Yeah, no, I was trolling on that part. I ain't gonna cap, but okay. I mean, I can see people being upset with this. I can understand people because it comes down to Devontae Smith. It really does to me. I mean, maybe you can make the argument for Amon-Ra St. Brown that he's better than him, but I wouldn't put. If I was to take Amon-Ra St. Brown out, I would put Devontae Smith there, and I would put CeeDee Lamb at 10. Would that make everybody happier, or is that still disrespectful?
I mean, hey, you should, at least if you got him in your top 10, I'll listen to you. But, hey, you can have your own opinion, but he's got to be in your top 10, dog.
There you go. He's in Philly Mike's top 10.
Look at that. Look at that. And you know what? And guess what? I heard a couple other Philly fans like, hey, I'm a Philly fan, dog, but I got to have CeeDee in my top 10.
I mean, who are we taking out then? Are we taking out Devontae Smith realistically?
I'm taking out Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is nasty, but I mean, I'm sorry, he's not there. But I'm still would take St. Brown. I would keep Devontae Smith in and take St. Brown out and keep CeeDee in my opinion. And Brown is nice, but I would take a Devontae Smith over Amon St. Brown.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna probably put it. I mean, I like Amon St. Brown because that's where
St. Brown too. But if you had Devontae Smith,
I would probably take. Yeah, I'm taking Devontae Smith. But I mean, that's where the conversation comes in because it's like what I didn't know if I wanted to go with what I thought, what I've seen or what I'm thinking is going to happen next year, and that's kind of why I got Amon-Ra so high, to be 100% honest, because I really think he's going to do. I think he's going to be really good next year. I think he's going to be really good for his career. So. People saying St. Brown not to. But it's funny though. It's kind of cool because I know that there's a guy trolling in your chat right now. That's a Eagles fan. I keep seeing him saying Cowboys suck and stuff. And then you got Rev Rebel on my side over here talking about junk. But I love it. I love it. All right, so it is what it is. I knew people were gonna like it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got 101 people in here. Be sure to hit the likes, hit the subscribe wherever you are. Joe on crack. Everybody think I'm good, bro. I'm good. All right, so we'll do your top 5 now, and I'll give you the floor. I'll back off. People yelled at me enough.
All right, so let's go. What we got? Who's number 5? Stefon Diggs?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Stefon Diggs is my number 5 guy, obviously, because Stefon Diggs has been doing it. You just mentioned, when he had the quarterbacks there over with Minnesota, Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. I mean, he's going to get you numbers. I don't think he's an overly great quarterback. And then you said, what was the other quarterback that they had there that he got him a contract, but he wasn't really
Case
that good.
Keenum.
Case
Yeah,
Keenum.
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum got him a contract, but I'm sorry, I'm not ever thinking Case Keenum was some great old quarterback. So the fact that he was doing those numbers with those guys, and then let's keep it real, Josh Allen. Okay, I like Josh Allen a lot. Okay, but he wasn't the most accurate quarterback coming in the league, and still not the most accurate guy out there, right? So the fact that he's able to do what he does with Josh Allen still, there. He had 124 passer rating when he was targeted, dog. 1,400 yards, 108 receptions. He's a reception machine. And man, his route running, that's the thing that really separates him from a lot of these guys. That route running is just so damn crispy, dog. And he makes great catches. His hands are really good. He's explosive enough. But dog, I love his attitude. Give me the ball. The game's on the line. Give me the damn ball. I'm going to make the catch. And he does. You get what I'm saying? He's the guy that says, give me the ball. I will make the play. And he does. And that's what I love about him. And like I said, he's been there, 3 or 4 straight years, over 1,000 yards. He's been doing his damn thing. So that's why I got Stefon Diggs up in there at number 5. Now, we're going to go with Jamar Chase at number 4. This is the young buck, right? Coming out of nowhere, had the ballyhoo LSU. Joe Burrow said, get this dude, will be lethal. A lot of people like, nah, man, get an offensive lineman. You need to get offensive. No, they was right. They were right in doing what they did by getting Jamar Chase. Now, I'll put him up here on the list. He probably maybe higher than maybe some people think, but I put a lot of potential on this just because of what we've seen his first couple years, right?
Yeah.
He had the drop C's his first year, very high drop C's, but that happens when you're a rookie. But come back
and targeted as much as he was. He was targeted like a crazy amount.
Right. I mean, he had 127 targets this past season.
Yeah.
So, and it was only for like 1,000 yards, but he had 87 catches, 9 touchdowns. But when you just really see what he can do, he's big, he's strong, he's fast. Like I said, the only thing that really, to me, hurts him is, he loses laps of concentrations with the ball. And he has sometimes big drops where you're like, why did he just drop that after he just made a fabulous play? So I think that's the only thing really holding back. If he can really get that ball control under order, he's going to continue to be explosive because, like I said, he has everything you want, right? If you're starting a team, you got a receiver. He's everything that you want if you're starting a receiver. And I think him and Joe Burrow are going to have a really, really good career together. And that was smart on what the Bengals did by getting him, and that was smart of Joe Burrow saying, "Hey, go get this guy," because I think he just has a world of potential that he's really just going to blow up even better. And then when we go at number 3, I'm gonna go with Tyreek Hill. I love Tyreek Hill. Now, remember, you just said, "Hey, I don't know, Jalen Waddle." That's a conversation. You're right. That definitely is a conversation. Jalen Waddle is nasty, dog. I can't lie. But man, Tyreek Hill, man, dog. I don't care. I've seen a lot of fast dudes. Okay, in the NFL, I've seen a lot of fast dudes, but this dude is fast, bro. Like, he's exciting fast. Like, I want to watch him. He's that fast. You know what I mean? When he gets that ball and he just kind of pushes his shoulders ahead, oh my God, that speed is just elite. And the fact that, everybody said, "Oh, you with Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes kind of made you." Pat Mahomes, yeah, you did all this with Pat Mahomes, but can you go over there and do it with Tua? Because Tua ain't all that as a quarterback. He's still kind of growing. And we saw, his back and forth, his up and down career already, right? He comes right over, gets 119 catches for 1,700 yards, dog. And he was explosive. You know what I'm saying? 14 yards reception-wise. But the thing is, man, he's just explosive, and you can do so many things with him, dog. And and he has good hands. You know what I'm saying? Only has 4 drops. People were talking about he didn't have the greatest hands. Only have 4 drops. But I just think, when I think of Tyreek Hill, I think of explosive, dog. And if you can't teach that. You can't teach that damn speed, and he is a threat. And just because of that threat scares a defense, and it makes everything better for everybody else because that speed scares people. So that's why I got him at 3. And then we'll go with number 2. Obviously, people can put him at number 1. Is Justin Jefferson. What can you say about him? He had 1,800 yards this past season. He's just been a freaking machine since he's come into the league. I didn't think he was going to be this good. I thought he was going to be okay. I thought he was going to be good, but I didn't think he was going to be this good. So the fact that he's come in and done what he's done, 1,800 yards, dog, 128 catches. I mean, every year he's just getting better, right? It's not. I mean, every year it's like, what is he going to do more now? So he's just a catching machine. I love his speed. I love his attitude. He's a big play guy. He's another guy to give me the ball when it's on the line, and he's going to produce for you. And just the arrow is up. Like I said, you can move him around. You can play him in so many spots, route running, the speed. Maybe he can get a little more physical, right? Maybe he can get a little more physical. But, hey, when you're getting 1,800 yards, almost 2,000 yards, and you year 3, yeah, you're pretty damn good in the league, especially when teams know you're getting the ball, right? It's not like people don't know, Joe, that he's getting the ball. He's the top receiver. You're probably surely seeing double coverage, and you're still getting those numbers, right? So that's what I really love about Justin Jefferson. And then let's go to my number one guy. I've always loved this dude. Even when he was Green Bay, I hated him. I didn't hate him. I always loved Devontae Adams. When Devontae Adams first came in the league, I think he put a little show on us. I think he came in 2014, and he kind of kicked our butts in that playoffs. He had big game against Dallas, and that's when I really noticed him. When I first saw him, I was like, "Damn, this Devontae Adams is nice, dog." They was talking about the other receivers, but I was like, something about Devontae Adams, and bro, I don't care, man. Devontae Adams can do it all. There's nothing that he can't do. You see what I'm saying? Hands, route running. He's 4.5 guy, but it just seems like he's fast. You feel what I'm saying? It feels like he gets past guys. You know what I mean? Touchdown machine, led the league in receiving touchdowns at 14. You didn't say Aaron Rodgers made him because he was so damn good, but you wanted to see if he would go over and do the same thing with Oakland because you got Derek Carr. He's a good quarterback, but he ain't an Aaron Rodgers, right? 100 catches, 1,500 yards. 14 touchdowns, 15 yards a catch, bro. Man, 5 yards after the catch on the reception. He's just a dog. And he's like, 30 years old now? He's not a spring chicken. So the fact that you're still doing those high-level numbers, dog, at the age that he's at. Receivers can play a long time, but obviously when you're hitting the 28, 29s, the 30s, you're probably thinking maybe the down trade starts to happen, right, Joe? But not with this guy. And no quarterback is making him. He's a dog. He can make quarterbacks. So that's why Devontae Adams is there. He's a beast. He's a monster, and I love watching this game. Everything about Devontae Adams, I love watching.
Yeah, I really can't, I can't complain about this list. I do want to, I was sitting so patient and so quiet, but one of my subscribers, I think it was Eagles Has Landed, said I was being wish-washy. I want to know what you mean by that. I want to know what you mean by that. I need further explanation on that. But yeah, no, people seem to actually really like your top 5. I saw some people saying it was perfect. One person did. Some of these people, Rev Rebel is over here kind of contradicting himself because he said Steph Diggs was too high at 5, but he was mad that I had him at 6. So I'm not really sure where he wants Stephon Diggs, but hey, it is what it is. Now I like this. I mean, once we get here, and I think somebody in the chat said it too. Once we get here, it's kind of like you're splitting hairs. You're just saying what you like about this person a little bit more than that person. Once you get to the top 5, these are guys, even top 10, realistically, you could go top 12. There's so many good wide receivers in this league. So it's really just splitting hairs and what you like. So I ain't really got nothing bad to say here. I mean, I like this a lot. I really do. And Justin Jefferson, I think, is a guy that's going to be here for a while. I think he's going to be a dude we talking about 20 years from now saying, hey,
he might be Pro Bowl. I mean, Hall of Fame potential.
Mm-hmm.
His
1,800 yards ain't easy. 1,800 yards,
especially when defenses are geared to stop you. 1,800 ain't easy.
Yeah, and he's done it. He's done it consistently. One thing I will say is he had the 1,800 yards, and he only had 6 games, if I'm not mistaken, where he was held under 50 yards. And one of them was the Eagles. So, yeah.
I knew you was.
Hey, I was trying to throw that out there real quick.
I knew he was going to get that in there. I should have mentioned what CeeDee did to y'all, but I wasn't.
Hey, you had your time,
Okay. 9 catches, 100-some yards, 2 touchdowns. We won.
It is what it is. We split. Split.
Yep.
Next year is what I'm waiting for. Me and you've been waiting for a healthy matchup for a while. So I'm ready.
Waiting.
I am definitely ready. All right, so we're gonna go. I know people gonna be pissed off with my list, and I
we're gonna
love
be
it.
pissed off with your list.
People gonna hate it. So we got AJ Brown at number 5. Which I don't think that's unfair at all. I got AJ Brown
it's
in the
not
top
crazy.
5.
I can't say it's crazy. I won't be like, what? But he ain't in my top 5.
Yeah, I mean, what do I gotta say about AJ Brown? I think there's so many
Please
things.
say everything about AJ Brown, because I eloquently went off on CeeDee Lamb why he was above him.
No, look, I feel like you look at it, and this is where it kind of becomes a little bit wish-washy, right? Because you say I'm either looking at the future or I'm looking at what he did. With him, I'm kind of looking at both, because you look at what he did with the Titans, and that was a run-first offense, and he was still able to go off, still be that dude. And then you look at what he did coming to the Eagles, which were still a run-first offense, and it is what it is. He still continues to go crazy. So I don't know. I think that he's one of the best wide receivers in the league. I really don't know how else to say it. I just think that AJ Brown, you look at what he's done. It didn't take him 5,000 targets to do it. He's like a lot of people like to use against him that he has a bunch of weapons around him between Goddard and Devontae Smith and all that. But I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to take advantage of your weapons.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is. So Eagles has Landon says you were saying you like Smith more than Waddle, but you put Waddle ahead of Smith. You were not solid. Yeah, I mean, all right, then I am being wishy-washy. It is what it is. It's just a list.
At least he admitted it.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I just wanted to know what he said before I went in too hard. But I mean, it is what it is. It's a list. I'm splitting hairs here. We're talking football. I don't know. I think that AJ Brown deserves to be that top 5. That's it. I say there's really his resume speaks for itself. I really don't know what else to say beyond what he's already done. He's done it all. So I'm taking, if I had to pick right now who I'm picking to start my franchise, I'm taking AJ.
Yeah, but like I said, he came over with a good offense. I will say Jalen Hurts is probably better than Ryan Tannehill. So I'll go ahead and say that. And when I look at his years prior at Tennessee, man, it was a running team, but Dallas ran the ball pretty well too with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. He had an 869 year. That was the year prior, and he was barely cracking 1,000 yards his first 2 years at Tennessee. So just he was a deep bomb guy his first year. They were just throwing it deep to him. So he wasn't really a route running guy. So you
would say first of all, him not being a route running guy, he's shown that he can run every route.
Oh, now
when he's been
now
in
he can.
He wasn't asked to do it over there. That's not his fault. That's what he wasn't asked to do.
Okay,
that's not his fault. He doesn't draw up the plays. I mean, he just runs what they tell him to run.
You still got to be able to run routes.
That he could. He showed that he can now, right? He wasn't asked to do it before. It's not like he was trying to run them and couldn't run them. He wasn't asked to do that.
Right.
They had a very specific offense. They only used him one way. That's why he wanted out. So I mean, you can't really use that against him.
Who was the other receivers at Tennessee when they drafted him?
I have no idea. Not many
Exactly.
good ones.
Exactly.
I mean, what does that mean? What does that mean, though?
I mean, we had Amari Cooper, and still our rookie CeeDee Lamb was still turning up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but it was two totally different offenses. So you're comparing a Tannehill ran offense to a Dak ran offense. Dak Prescott throws the ball far more often than any offense that the Tennessee Titans were running. Derrick Henry is that offense. Am I wrong?
We ran the ball too a lot. We ran the ball.
But it's not. But that wasn't your bread and butter. That wasn't the highlight of your offense.
That was a highlight of our offense this past season. We had almost 1,000-yard rushers. If Ezekiel Elliott wouldn't have got hurt, we probably would have had 1,000 yards rushers.
And you fed this guy because you had no wide receivers this year.
Right.
You fed,
and he stepped his game
I don't know.
up. You feel me? He didn't have no receivers. Look what he did.
If you're getting how many targets did he get this year? It was like $120 or something like that.
I think he had like 147.
That's bruh.
You had AJ Brown had 137.
That's a lot, but he had 1,400 yards. How many yards does CeeDee have?
1,300, almost 1,400.
So he had like what 20 more catches or targets? Excuse me.
Yeah, he had only 10 more targets. He had 147 targets, so he had 10 more targets, and he had like 20 more catches.
Let me look at this real quick. So he had 156. He had 156
Oh,
targets.
156 targets. Okay.
That's a lot of targets. That's
You're
a lot
right,
of
but
targets.
137 is a lot of targets too, ain't it?
I'm gonna look at what AJ Brown has right here because I want to see. I need my eyes to see it real quick. So he had 145. So
Oh,
that's including the playoffs as well.
Okay, but okay,
No,
so
that's
it's
not.
showing
No,
here.
that's not. I'm
See what I'm
lying.
saying? So
Yeah, so that's
it's showing
145.
here, yeah. So I mean, they're both the same then.
Eh,
And CD had 1359 and more
11
explosive plays
touchdowns for one,
over 20 yards.
9 touchdowns for the other. I mean, more touchdowns to AJ Brown.
And
It's
AJ
close, I
Brown
guess. Numbers wise.
and AJ Brown pretty much had Jalen Hurts all year. CD Lamb had Cooper Rush for 5 games. That's the big thing right there to me.
That's not a big thing.
How's that not?
If you're a dog, you're a dog.
So you're right.
When
That just shows you,
Jalen
right?
Hurts went
And
down.
you're proving my point. Then
No, but
dog
when
is a
Jalen
dog.
Hurts went down, they still balled. Devontae Smith and AJ Brown still balled out. We lost those games, but they still balled out. They still had good games.
Okay, how many games did was Jalen Hurts out?
2.
Oh,
I mean, it is what it is.
It was kind of at this end of the season when it didn't matter, right?
Cooper Cup was winning games for y'all. Cooper Cup
Rush
was winning games.
Right,
Cooper Rush.
but did anybody think Cooper Rush was ever win a game? We thought season might be over because Cooper Rush, because he's not playing for, he's not quarterbacking nobody else in the NFL. I'm telling you, he's not going to do it. And the fact that he held the team, they held afloat during that period of time because
defense.
No, you're right, but it's because CeeDee Lamb stepped his game up too. He had big games in that period of time. He pretty much won that Giants game for us. But what I'm saying is during that period of time when AJ Brown and when Jalen Hurts got hurt, was that a meaningful game to where y'all had to get in the playoffs? Those games that we were playing at the beginning of the season, we couldn't afford to lose those games. They could have knocked us all the way out the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. This year will be a very this year will be a very, very telling year for both of them. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see CeeDee Lamb get 1,000 targets again and barely break 1,200 yards. We'll see what happens with him. But either way, so I have AJ Brown at 5. I have Tyreek Hill at 4. Which I could have put him higher, to be honest. But I do think that I just like Jamar Chase. Yes, there is a lot of ups and downs with Jamar Chase, but I think that the ups are definitely going to start superseding the downs a lot more once it comes down to, next season and beyond. And Tyreek Hill, he's not a one-trick pony, but I feel like once that speed starts to diminish, it's going to be a little bit tougher for him. I will say that. I think that there's other areas that he kind of lacks. And so I think Jamar Chase is just that all-around guy, and I like him. I like him a lot. Joe, why is Amon-Ra so high on your list? He's at 8. I don't think that's that high. Anyway, I really don't think that's high. But anyway, so Jamar Chase, I think, is just that dude. I really do think him and Justin Jefferson are going to be the face of this league in a couple years, maybe even this year or next. I think they're going to be kind of commanding the 1 and 2 spot. Devontae Adams, you said it. You kind of hit it on the head, man. He's done everything, and he's done it everywhere. I mean, in good offenses and whatever you want to call the Raiders last year, he still was balling, still getting his catches and everything. So Devontae Adams is a guy I would take. I don't really care what, what I'm saying, whatever age he's going to be at, I'm taking him. That boy is just a beast. I'm down with it. So, he has to be up there. I was going to probably put him at number 1, but Justin Jefferson is just different. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't give me the opportunity to bring up the Eagles stat, I was going to bring it up here and say, we held the number 1 wide receiver, in my opinion, in the league to less than 50 yards. But, I already got to say that. So Justin Jefferson's a dog, man. He can do literally everything. Everything you ask of him, he can do it and more. So it's fun to watch him play. It's fun. He's a very technically sound player, but at the same time, he has that flash, which I think is very rare. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that very often. Somebody that can technically break you down, kind of like a Ocho Cinco. Like he technically broke you down with his footwork, but at the same time, he was just explosive and fun to watch. So I see, not saying that he's Ocho Cinco, but he's a guy that gives me the same type of feeling. Somebody said, "Where's Jalen Rager?" I should have put Jalen Rager. I said, "Go."
Before you finish that though, too, my homegirl Stargazer Podcast Sports. Shout out to her because I was going to make sure I said this to you too, but she brought it to my memory, and I'm glad she said that. Hold on one second. Hold on. But she said, and I was going to say this as well. You know, CeeDee Lamb's rookie year, we didn't have Dak. He only played 5 games. He had, when you were talking about Ryan Tannehill and you know, Derrick Henry, which is true, but we had Ben DiNucci.
That boy a beast.
Listen, Ben DiNucci, Andy Dalton, and Garrett Gilbert his rookie year, and still almost hit 1,000 yards. I had like had 975 with like 70 catches with those quarterbacks his rookie year.
To be fair, y'all were high on DiNucci, bro. Y'all used to come on the shows talking about Gucci DiNucci.
Okay,
y'all used to love DiNucci.
Okay,
y'all used to love DiNucci.
That was but nobody really thought Ben DiNucci was going to come in and do anything. So don't even do that. And Garrett Gilbert and Andy Dalton was washed, as we see now. He's washed up. You feel me? And so the fact that he did what he did with those guys, and then when they said, "Oh, he's just playing in the slot," then they took him to the outside. He turned up on the outside. Then we moved him back to the slot. He turned up again. I'm sorry, Joe. I feel like there was just a lot of hate going into that CeeDee Lamb keeping out of your top 10. This felt like a lot of hate on that, Joe. Just a lot.
I don't know. I don't think it was a lot of hate.
A lot of hate.
I think difference of opinion. I think different viewpoint.
Maybe some difference.
You know what I'm saying? Look, I really do feel like Devontae Smith is one of the most underrated guys in this league. And I think that A.J. Brown has proven that he can do literally anything you ask of him as a wide receiver. So, you know, it is what it is. Maybe me leaving CeeDee Lamb completely off is a head scratcher for some, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll revisit this next year because do I still have him? Hold on. Didn't we do wide receivers last year? No, we didn't. We did quarterbacks and cornerbacks.
Quarterbacks and cornerbacks. Yeah.
So we can go back. We're gonna probably do maybe quarterbacks next. I don't know. We'll talk about it and figure it out. Who do y'all think had the worst? I think I already know this one. I think
you
lost
did.
This one, dog.
Yeah, you lost.
But I mean, quickly, just post if you think I had the worst one, or if James had the worst one.
I definitely didn't have I had a damn good list.
Everybody saying yours, bro. All right, so what if we do this? So, and we'll do this for the quarterbacks one too. So I'll set the precedence. You know what I'm saying? Now I'll set the precedent now because I know I'm probably losing.
He said leave Castro alone. He has Bradbury as a top 3 tackle.
Bradbury is that dude. Bradbury is a top 3 tackle. Somebody said I had Jason Kelsey as a top 3 wide receiver. That one had me too. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody's saying Joe, but no. So I'm gonna set the precedent. So when the quarterback rankings come out and when we do our cornerbacks, I'm sure we'll do that again. You know, you stick by it too. How do you feel about this? Everybody leaves comments after the video is live. Leave them in the regular comments and leave them in yours, leave them in mine, and you can pick the comment with the highest, you know, likes or the one you like best, and I will read it out loud. You know what I'm saying? To start the next show, to start next week's show. Okay. I will read whatever comment you pick out for me to read. But it looks like I don't even know why I asked, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm mine by far. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and make sure you post these up on the Twitter. You know, you always got to do that. Them. Make sure you post it so you can get off. Hey, you ain't gonna get the hate for you ain't gonna get that hate from them your Philly fans. They're gonna back you up all on that when you have them in top 5.
They just ain't talking though. That's how I know I lost. Because if I would have won, they would have been like, Joe, you got it. Ain't nobody saying nothing.
So like, you know, hey. Drew had to get it in there. So he said, let me get a super chat. Let me read Joe. He got to hear what I got to say, Joe. So let me throw a super chat in there. So he got to hear what I got to say. CD is mid. You sound crazy, bro. I
agree.
I know. I don't agree at all. The numbers don't even speak of what you're saying. And then when you watch the tape don't even say it, bro. So, you know, that's cool.
So let me
ask you. Just a hater.
Let me ask you this, because I love Drew, though. I love the energy. I think it's as long as he's respectful, you know what I'm saying? Don't be disrespectful, but he's good. I like him. But I want to ask you this, because I think quarterbacks would probably be a good one to do next. Is Dak going to be in your top 10?
Yeah.
All right.
Dak is still a top 10 quarterback. It's so funny to me hear all these people talk. no, but he was it's so funny to me. All these people talking this interception thing, bro. Cut it out. Like we all, I just don't. I mean, you have to watch the tape
You
to
get
see it,
mad.
and I don't know. I just don't understand for people who say they watch football and then they say these things because if you watch the tape, and I don't make no excuses for Dak. Listen to my shows. I was on Dak's ass, especially in them playoffs, dog. I'll be on Dak. I was making sure our content creators weren't giving him an excuse. We had heated shows where I was going at people saying, man, you favor Dak too much. Stop giving him all that slack. This now or never. I've been saying that about Dak. So can't nobody come at me and say I'm one of these, I'm blowing Dak. But when we look at those interceptions, bro, those interceptions, they weren't all on Dak. There was a whole bunch of bad play by the receivers, drop passes by the receiver, and once again, Michael Gallup came out and said, and we all knew this, that knee was bad. He came out and said, my knee was sore all year. Dog, if you just come back from a tore up knee and your knee is sore, you gonna go hard. You can't make the cuts, and you should know, Joe, and you know sports, played all that. If you're a cornerback and you know that receiver can't plant on that leg and he can't do what he's gonna do, don't you think you're gonna break on those routes? You're gonna know what he's gonna do. Don't you know you're gonna have the advantage over him because he can't go full speed, and they're making him play because we don't have anybody else. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, and where did you see Dak Prescott be a turnover machine his whole career? Never.
Not facts. And
Never
honestly,
been
last year, the leaders and I mean, not to give him any backup because we going to talk about, I'm not going to say whether he is or not in my top 10. We'll talk about it when we get there. But I will say this much. To look at 17, I think was the league leader, or was it 15 or 17? What was it that was the league leader in interceptions? It was like 17, 15, something like that. But that's not a lot. That's not a lot. We're a couple years removed.
Way worse.
Yeah, we're a couple years removed from seeing a 30 for 30.
Yeah, like Brett Favre through like 31 year. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like 17 really ain't that much, but I get it. Don't get me wrong, and I'm gonna use it. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna use it. But I just had to, how I get down. I have to I have to sprinkle in a little bit of reality when I like to talk my junk. But Philly D said to read his chat. I got to read his chat.
See, and look at Stargazer. She said he sure was. Big ain't no Big ain't no Dak lover at all.
Nah, you definitely.
I'm not I critique Dak very harshly, but I like Dak. I'm not taking. I like Dak as our quarterback. I'm glad he's there. I love who he is. You know what I'm saying? I respect Dak and I love what he is. But like anything, if you're not playing good and you're the guy, you got to make better plays. You got to be better. And I'm going to be watching him under this new regime to see how he does under it, because there really should be no excuses for why we can't do what we do with the team we had. The excuses are kind of gone. You got everything that you need as far as the players. We stay relatively healthy. There should be no excuses. So I don't give none for Dak. So can't nobody come at me and say that with him. You feel me? Not really. And you can, and for real, Joe, you do it with your players. I do it with mine. I don't cut any of the players slack as far, because if I was playing a game, they wouldn't cut me slack. So I don't show the favoritism. I just try to keep as real as I can how I feel about them.
Yeah, no, I will say I think that's kind of where me and you started first, kind of like, I don't want to say bonded, but that's where we got along, because I was kind of harsh on Jalen Hurts a lot, and you were very honest about what Dak was doing, and I think we kind of both was like, all right, we can talk our junk. You'll never really see us like we'll say good things about the other quarterback, but we'll still talk our junk, right? But like at the end of the day, we understand that, hey, if my quarterback's not doing well, I'm not going to sit here and act like he is. But Philly D said dome wide receivers will have better stats. Smith is the best in the East. I agree with that. I agree with that. Devontae. Cole's Cowboy dropped $5 to talk some Cowboys on my channel for some reason. He said Dak will ball out, turn over. Is that on mine or yours? I hope that's on yours.
It's on mine.
It's yours. You can read it then. Yeah, because I don't want to.
So he said Dak will ball out, turnover rate will decrease, and they will go back to calling them Dink and Duck Dak. I think that's true. Because I always said I'm 30-30 club all day, dog. 30-30. 30 rushes, 30 passes. I'm cool. You don't need to throw 50 passes with Dak to prove nothing, dog. He's better when he's throwing around them 30 passes. He's more effective when he's a 23 of 30, 25 of 32. That's when he's more effective to me, and he's better like that. So yeah, I'm cool with him dropping the ball off, whatever. He don't got to prove nothing to nobody. We're trying to win championships. We ain't trying to win passing yard awards.
Facts, and shout out to Lynn. This was a actual Cowboys. See, Cowboys come to my chat channel to talk junk.
That's
Eagles
cool.
fans go to your channel to talk junk. I love
I
it.
love
I
it.
like it.
I love it.
But
It's a good thing.
landlord
And they
from
keep it pretty
Wakanda.
respectful, and so it's pretty good.
Yeah, no cursing, no like name calling. I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
No, we got
Fun
good chat.
banter. Exactly. Yeah. But congrats to Hurts for having Dak's rookie year. Dak made the Super Bowl in his rookie year. I ain't realized that. That's crazy. We got to stop talking about this whole, because I be keep on saying this whole 27 years since the NFC Championship. If Dak made it to, my bad, my fault. Damn. We ain't even best of enemies no more. We're just best of friends because I've been wrong about everything.
You know what? People keep on saying that. Like, I think, your boy Brunson is always saying the 27-year thing. People weren't even alive. Half of y'all was little babies, which I wasn't. I was 20 years old. I was an adult when the Cowboys. And so you can't use that one against me. But like I think somebody said in the, I think it was the Great Law Nation said, if it was so easy, then you would have caught up by now. So that's all. We will always backtrack on that one. If it was so easy or you were so good at it, you would have been caught up by now with your excellent teams. But you're still stuck on one.
Let me ask you one question before we get out of here. In your lifetime of seeing the Eagles and the Cowboys and the NFC East, has there been another time that you can remember that you've thought I don't know how to word this without making you feel like I'm trying to make you say they're great. Have you ever seen the Eagles this good? Do you think, has there ever been a time that you think the Eagles have been this well put together that maybe on your side, you're like, oh, we got to kind of really watch out for them?
Yeah, I think when y'all got T.O., y'all were damn good. Y'all were damn good. I felt like y'all were missing. I still, to my grave, I don't hate on Donovan McNabb, but I just don't think Donovan McNabb was the greatest quarterback like they tried to hype him to be. I just don't believe that. But when y'all had that team, y'all had defense, y'all had offense, and y'all were just missing that one big play because y'all didn't have a big play receiver. Y'all were having Todd Pinkston and those type of guys. Yeah. You feel me? So when y'all got T.O., that's when I was like, okay, yeah, when y'all signed him, I said, this about to be a big problem. This going to be a problem. And it was. I thought that was one of y'all best teams I had seen in a long time because T.O. added that element. And he already had that attitude, and it just added to that element of attitude with the team. So I've seen it then. And early 80s, I seen some damn good teams when they had Harold Carmichael and Ron Jaworski and, Wilbert Montgomery. And it was some pretty good. He has some good defenses too. So, a lot of people don't remember them, but I remember Mike Quick. I remember those guys. You feel me? I know, you know what I'm saying? I remember those guys. So those were some tough teams in the 80s too. But that T.O. team was pretty dope to me.
I respect it. Yeah, because that's probably what I go back to is I'll compare it to that year because I did feel like
Reggie White and Jerome Brown, that whole front, Golick, that whole front was just nasty. Yes, rest in peace, Jerome. That hurt I ain't gonna lie, that hurt my soul. When Jerome Brown, that hurt my soul. And as much as I couldn't stand Philly, that hurt my soul when I heard about that.
Yeah, you never want to see that. You don't even really ever want to see injury, let alone, a player of his stature, of his talent, and of his impact on the city. Like, he was a big name in the city. So, it was definitely, yeah.
D. Aldridge says, y'all bringing up them VHS. I love when I hear people say that because, like I said, it's cool that you said, but y'all still ain't catching up. Y'all had an opportunity y'all had an opportunity this year to get two, and it would have been like, and I didn't want to hear that noise. Shout outs to y'all got to the Super Bowl, because I can't say nothing about that. Y'all got to the Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Y'all been there twice. I can't say nothing against that. You feel me? I can't. And we would want in Dallas, even though we say you didn't win, we would at least want to be in the Super Bowl. We at least want to be in a championship game right now. So I can't hate on that. But at the end of the day, once again, you're still stuck on one. And if y'all was that damn good, y'all would have more than one.
Once we get the second one, you think we bad now, Jay? And
Oh,
you
I
think
know.
we bad
I know.
now?
That's why I'm glad y'all
Oh,
lost. That's
yeah,
why I'm
you
so
better be
glad.
happy the Phillies lost and the Sixers lost. If the Sixers would have, if all three of the Philadelphia major sports teams would have won, I'm not even a Sixers fan or a Phillies fan. I'm not going to sit here and, fake for the stream. I'm not. My girlfriend is. My girlfriend loves them all. It would have been, and my girl, bro, it would have been every day she would have came on this show just to be like, just to let y'all know the Phillies won all of it. It's going to be bad, bro. If we win another Super Bowl, it's going to be bad, but I'm excited.
Well,
I'm
I hope you
definitely
are
excited.
because, like I said, you're stuck on one, and no matter what your Philly Eagles say, it don't matter what you say because guess what? If the roles were reversed and y'all had 5 and been to 8, and we was the other team, what was the thing that you Philadelphia Eagles fans be saying all the time? You can lie to me if you want to. You can lie to me right in the camera. Right now, you can lie to me and say you would never say it, but you're damn right. You would say it every damn time. Every time we like, but yeah, we just went to the Super Bowl. And be like,
I definitely would.
but y'all ain't
I
got
do it as
5
a
though.
Yankees fan.
No, y'all wouldn't catch up. Y'all still got to catch up with us though. It don't matter how old they are. Get more, catch up. You still ain't winning them. Y'all be saying it all the damn time. So guess what? We Cowboys fans gonna say it too. I don't live off that, but catch up. We got a show out here, Joe, called the Catch Up Show. And every time he comes on, it says, catch up. That's what I say to y'all. It's the Catch Up Show.
Is that a real show?
It's a real show. The guy, yeah, it's dope. Like he's the DJ and everything. He's like, it's the Catch Up Show. And they're like, catch up. So yeah. Go check that show out. Go listen to like 107.5 in Columbus, Ohio. Go download it and listen to the Catch Up Show because that's what we're saying to y'all. Catch up.
I do that as a Yankees fan. I'm not gonna cap. Shout out to my girl in the chat. She said, "Damn right." Yeah, I told you she would be going crazy if all them teams won. But either way, man, we about to be out here for like 3 hours, bro. Right, get out of here.
It was a good show.
But either way, do you have your other show tonight?
No, I'm chilling tonight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is the only one I feel good. Probably gonna hit that bed or probably watch a little tube. You feel me? So this was a good one. I like how we did our list. Can't wait till we do our quarterbacks, and we should probably do some other positions too. You feel me this year? Because
hopefully we get K Adams on next week.
Yeah, get on your grind, big dog. This is all you. This is what you do. Dope. Feel me? I'm the grandpa of this. I'm the OG grandpa of this. I like seeing the young up and comers just go out there and kill it. Oh, look at them young boys. Look at them boys. Look at that little whippersnapper just out there interviews and all that. So this is all on my guy Joe. Go ahead and snatch it up, make it happen, and get it going.
Just talking to the microphone. Boy, you better go.
Boy, look at that boy.
You better go.
Look at that boy just at the NFL draft. Just look at Joe right there. I'm so proud of that young man. Look at that young whippersnapper. He done came. I remember when that boy was about this big when he was talking about doing them Philly shows.
Landlord said, if Castro got a girl, put me on with K Adams. I got you, bro. If she come on the show, I'm gonna slide her your number. I got you, bro. People stupid. But either way, man, we about to get out of here. But I appreciate everybody. We still got over 100 people in the chat, man. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the comments and commentary. Today was a lot of fun. I'm probably gonna go back and reread the chat because y'all were hilarious today. But you got anything you want to say before we get out of here, brother?
No, just once again, continue to support the Best of Enemies show, man. One of the best shows out there. Me and Joe be doing our thing. And like I said, it's getting ready to be the season, man. It's going to be even more exciting as we get into the draft is already here. Then we'll actually get to see our young players and we'll be able to talk about camp. I know you're going to have the official things on how camp goes. And then as we go into the season again, it'll be exciting going to the game, talking about the games and, who won this week, talking to trash. And then, when we do our one-on-ones, those are the exciting game because I ain't gonna lie. It's so funny because people have to say, hey, are y'all still cool? Y'all gonna do a show?
Yeah, facts, bro.
Because it gets heated up in there. And that's what I love. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Be sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you're watching from my channel, go on over to James, show that love, and vice versa, man. We do this every week. But other than that, my grandmother always used to say, Dallas stinks. No, I'm just kidding. That's my dog James. I am Joe, and we are the best of enemies. Peace.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a